So the objective of this kind of first tutorial is to start getting to grips with some of the basic principles and skills we need to be able to manipulate and use a spreadsheet properly. So here we've got our kind of raw data we've downloaded from the MDAT database with the various different kind of headings and different kind of data types that we've collected here. And what we need to do is we want to start kind of formatting this so that it's easier to read, easier to understand, and we can start kind of picking some of the kind of trends and learning out of it. So this video is going to hopefully cover how to kind of start formatting cells, how to be able to undo and redo if you make mistakes or you want to kind of go back over something, how to easily and quickly cut, copy, paste, select kind of all the cells or multiple cells, the basic principles of how to use formulas in spreadsheets, how to insert and edit graphs or charts, and maybe another couple of bits as we go through. So the first thing we want to do is we want to start kind of formatting our data. So I can quite easily just change how the cells look. In this case, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this number 1 here. That's going to select the whole row. Okay, rows run horizontally, columns run vertically. So we're clicking on 1. I can highlight the whole cell. I can hit bold, so it makes headings a bit clearer. I can put them in the middle of the cell. So that's the kind of first useful thing. I can clearly see their headings now. The next thing, I'm just going to sort out this so it's in the same format as the others. Name makes more sense if all the others got capitals. And you should as well. I just want to click on a cell here. I've got the option to edit it here, or I can edit it straight into the cell. Generally, particularly when you've got longer, kind of more data in cells, it's easier to edit in this top bar. Now, next one I want to do is for some of the data is unclear. I can't actually see all of it, so I can format the size of the cell, the width, really easily. If I just hover my cursor over this gap, I can change the size of the cell. But nice little trick here. If I want to highlight it, double click, it'll put it in the most appropriate size. Now there must be something in that data, in that cell. There must be something long, which is why it wants to change that. So for here, so I can see all of it. That one doesn't need to be as wide. And it will automatically set the width to a size where that means I can see all of the data. There's lots of other things I can do. So again, I can change the font, change the headings. I can put this in italic. It makes things easier to see. I can put this. Once I select the cells, I can put them in the middle. But yeah, that's the kind of basics around kind of formatting our table, so it looks a bit more manageable. If at any point I've done something and I want to undo it, so I put a formula in wrong, I can use these. I can toggle through these options up here, so I can undo what I did, or I can redo it to italics on it. The next skill I suppose we want to cover is adding headings and kind of sorts and filters onto our data. So at the moment I've got various different for disaster types. I've got various different types of data. I've got earthquakes, storms, volcanoes, floods. So to make it more manageable, if I click on this top cell here, that will select all the data in the spreadsheet in between 1 and 8. And then if I go across to this function here, the filter, and select that, it will automatically put headings into my table. Now, if I want to, let's say, just select earthquakes, I can turn off the other cells, and now it's just showing me data where there's earthquakes in there. And if I want to turn all back on, likewise, or if I want to change and just look at the hazards in Haiti, and turn the others off. Now I've just got the data for Haiti, and again I can turn them all back on if I want to. So I was using this filter function up here. I can turn it off, but I want to keep that one on. So next, we want to think about trying to kind of show some of this data. So let's say I want to insert a simple graph. I've got the option here, so under Insert and Chart. Now, I haven't selected any data yet, so before I do that, it's giving me a blank one there. Yeah, I thought I might do that, the whole lot. Okay, just want to get rid of that. So, if I wanted to, let's say, plot a graph of the year the event happened and the total number of deaths that happened, I can click on this A to select the whole of that heading. Now, here's a good trick. I can hold down Control. I can click on total deaths. So I hold down Command, click on total deaths, insert chart, let it run for a minute, and there's a chart showing the total number of deaths over time. Now, Google's quite smart at this. It automatically can kind of guesses the graph type you want, so it's automatically set as a scatter graph is the most appropriate for this, and it's also used the headings on the axes. But I can change that if I wanted to have a bar graph, although but you can see it doesn't really look very clear there. So I can just use that to undo it. If I ever want to edit the chart, I can just click on these three dots at the top, edit the chart, this side panel will come up, and I can start changing it. So I can change the data I'm selected. At the moment it's selected those two headings, which is what I want. I can change, as we saw, different graph headings. I can switch the way it looks, but again, I don't want that, but might be useful later on. If I go onto this customize, I can change lots more. I can sort of start adding the title. So if maybe I want to make it clear it's a scatter graph, I can add that in at this point. I can change the colors, font size, and all that sort of thing. I can add a series to it. I can put on different grid lines, or I can even make it logarithmic if I want to. But again, we don't want to do any of that for now. So that's our graph function. Another useful skill, if I want to select multiple data, so maybe I want to look at the year. If I hold down Command, I can highlight some more cells. Maybe I missed one, so I want to add some in. So by holding down Command, I can click on multiple cells and select those. If I want to copy those cells, so I want to make another. Let's say I want to put them into a new sheet. I can use this plus at the bottom to add a sheet to my graph. I can rename it as data. Let's say I want to copy. I'm finding this a bit complicated, so I want to just select Haiti again, and I just want to select earthquakes. Okay, so I only got data for 2. I can hold down the left button, left mouse, and set all of that. Now I can press Command C to copy the data. I'll go back into that cell. I can press Command V to paste it. If I wanted to cut it, Alt X, I can move it somewhere else. Because I copied it, that data is still in the original. So that's quite useful. Turn off these. Another useful function, let's say I knew the 2010, but I've got a big data set. If I hold Command F, it gives me an option to find stuff. So if I wanted to find the data for 2010, 2 events happened in 2010. One was the earthquake and one was a storm. So it's just helped me quickly find the part of the spreadsheet that I'm looking for. Okay, other kind of useful skills, so basic formulas. Okay, this is where they start really coming into their own. So whenever we're doing a formula in a spreadsheet, got to kind of apply the basic principles of algebra. So it always starts with an equals. Now that tells the computer that there's going to be a kind of calculation or a sum that you want it to do. What both Excel and Google Sheets have got built into them is lots of kind of preloaded formulas. So if I want to calculate all of the deaths in Haiti, which is what's currently showing on screen, if I put it in Excel, I can type the word sum. Okay. Now that's kind of telling it that I want it to add everything up. Next thing I need to do is I need to open brackets. Okay. Now I can either hold down set your data, close the brackets, and press enter. And now I have the total deaths in Haiti between the 1970 and 2018, the data range. If I didn't want a sum, so I wanted the mean, so to change that. Mean, oh, doesn't like that. It wants me to put average. It's all crazy here. On the average deaths that happened, the mean in this case, and the mean deaths from earthquakes in the data range was 70,000. So I wanted the mode equals, and whether it's formula mode common. I know the mode death range. I can highlight all the data. Another go there. Close the brackets, press enter. Okay, so the mode number of deaths was 2. So I want the median. And same thing, equals median. I've got it there. Okay, now this is for both storms and earthquakes. Again, if I wanted to change it, I could turn off one. So that's for both. I believe that's given you a useful understanding of how to do it. Also, just one thing I forgot there. When you've got a number here with lots of decimal places, can be a bit confusing. What's quite useful is this function up here, so to decrease the number of decimal places. So if I select the cell, I want to change decimal places, or I can even select the whole column. I don't want any decimal places within this column where I'm going to have my data. I can keep pressing on that until I only get to whole numbers, because that's a more useful number there to look at. Okay, so as I said, I hope that's given you a useful overview of some of the basic functions we can do in spreadsheets.